how's it going? I'm so glad that y'all came over for another brand new video. So if it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Lacey, and I am trying to document every day what God is doing in my life and how I am changing and how I am a different person yesterday than I was today. I feel like we live on this earth for this 24-hour period, and God is working all the time in us, through other people. There's so much going on, and I think sometimes that we don't stop and think of what God's doing. And so I really wanted to document and see where I was changing in life. So I just decided to start documenting how God is working in my life. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and those bell notifications so you know every time that I upload a new video. So today I was driving and I was looking for a radio station. I just moved and I got a new car too. So I don't have any presets done yet because I just haven't got there yet. And I don't know the radio stations out here. And so usually I play stuff on my phone, right? Well, for some reason, like my phone didn't connect. I don't even know. Let me tell you, some days. And I was like, oh, I'll just listen to the radio. Like, I'll be fine. And I was like pushing through trying to find something, and I come across this station and it was like a devotional. And as they were talking, I was like, this is really cool, I want to write this down, but like I'm driving, there's nothing I do. Then God puts me a red light, and I sat there with grabbed my phone, hit the notepad, I'm like texting as fast as I can, and they were saying that these were the 4 things that you have to remember about your relationship with God, and they elaborated on each one, but I wanted to share them with you because I just thought it was such a wonderful reminder today. And I have no idea why God would like want to remind me of these things, but well, I do. But I think that I'm a little bit needy and I need lots of encouragement, and I think it was just him telling me that like, hey, like, you're okay. Like, remember these things. The first thing was that you were a chosen person, that God chose you, that like you're here for a reason. And there's all this debate about choose and not chosen and all this stuff. And like, everybody has their own opinions. They didn't really go there with it. They kind of went like, you're important, like you were chosen. God wanted you in his family, right? So if you're a saved person, you're adopted into the family, right? And so you would see that your extreme value, and that was the second thing, that you were like really valuable. And I had just got done telling, I think it was my mom on the phone, and I was saying, you know, like Satan doesn't attack things that aren't valuable, and don't go after something that has no value. Like that's ridiculous, right? So like, you're valuable. I think he wanted me to know that, like, hey, like, I know that sometimes life is hard, but let me tell you, like, I love you this much that I chose you to come into my family, that I wanted you, and that you're valuable. Like, you're so valuable that the enemy's trying to take you away. The next one was extreme love, that you're like unconditionally loved. And to think about that, it's so hard to give people unconditional love. I think God's love for us is so much more. It's like, it takes like unconditional love is like lowly compared to God's love. I think that's what they were trying to get you to understand, that like the love that God has for you is boundless. Like, it's amazing, it's huge. Like, to look at it more in like this perspective. The last thing was that you had no condemnation. I think I said it right. Condemnation? I'm not saying it right. But Romans 8:1 says you're not condemned. You know, in a court of law, like, you're condemned, a sentence is passed, like you have to answer for that. You know, there's no condemnation. You're forgiven. And that's just amazing. Like, it's amazing because we live in these like sinful bodies that you're trying to like all the time fight your flesh, basically. And I feel like that gets easier, but it's still inside of there. So even though I think it gets easier the more you walk with the Lord, it's still in there, and we still choose wrong all the time. I mean, goodness, you know? But it's amazing to think that like you're forgiven. Like God looks at you and he sees the righteousness that Jesus had. That Jesus had, you know? He doesn't look at you and see you. Like he sees Jesus covering you. And so you're good. And that's just amazing. Like you will never be condemned for what you've done wrong. Like you're forgiven. And so it was these like 4 simple truths. I think on this particular day, like God knew that I just needed that reminder. Like he just needed those simple truths. Like, let me tell you, like, you're valuable. I love you more than you could even imagine. Like you're forgiven. Like you're not condemned. You know, like I chose you to be in my family. Like sometimes I think you go through life and you just feel like you're failing at everything, right? Or like I can't keep my house clean enough. I can't be the best mom. You know, I can't make my kid like all the things for dinner, all the dumb stuff, right? And you're like, oh, I can't do this, you know? I'm failing, I'm failing, I'm failing. Even though your family doesn't think you are, you think you are inside. And I think that's where I was. I was just a little bit like, okay, you know, I'm trying so hard. God's just telling me, hey, like, you don't need to put all this pressure on yourself. Loved, like, I chose you. And you're valuable. And I've forgiven you. Don't beat yourself up over all the little things, which is like what I do all the time, right? And I'm sure that this is just a mom thing. And I'm sure that it's a perfectionist thing. But I think that it's really important just to document the fact in this time where like I knew I was kind of struggling, but it's kind of a normal struggle. God just showed up and was like, here, let me tell you. You don't have to worry about this. Like, I got you. I love you. Like, you're valuable. And so anybody that needed to hear those 4 things, those 4 truths that, y'all, don't beat yourself up. Don't think that you've done anything that can't be forgiven, because there isn't a limit here. There isn't bad enough. Like God sees it all the same. Like he's going to forgive us for all of it as long as we trust in the Lord. And that's all we have to do, is we have to keep trying to do our best, trust in the Lord, keep our faith, keep our relationship with God, and he's right there all the time. I just wanted to share this message, just these 4 truths, so anybody who needed them, anybody who needed to hear it, at least you didn't have to hear it on this terribly dry radio station. But God shows up, let me tell you, when you least expect it, or you think that you're like doing okay, but he knew inside that I needed that extra like pep. And honestly, y'all, they got to the 4th one, I wrote it down, that light turned green. Like he gave me enough time to write it down while I drove. Like, I mean, that's crazy. Like a text message type of thing is what I wrote down. And never underestimate what God can do in your life, because even the tiny small things are so important. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thanks for coming over, and I will see you in my next brand new video. Bye for now.